How's it going, guys? Hope you are all enjoying your day today. You guys definitely deserve it. Thanks for all that you've done for us. The speech class this year wanted me to do a little video about my experiences so far here at West Point, and I'm really excited to tell you guys all about it. It's been a really good experience so far, so I'll just start off at the beginning with my basic training. So we do a modified basic training as opposed to what most people do in the Army. It's called Cadet Basic Training. It's 6 weeks long. You start off, for us it was July 2nd was the R day, the reception day. For us, that's when we all reported, and it's split into two details. So the first detail is in garrison. It's mostly just in processing, getting all of our stuff issued to us, placement tests for classes for the academic year, and just briefs, just general briefs about what goes on here, all that stuff. So that's the first 3 weeks, and then in the second 3 weeks, which is the second detail, new cadre come in, and we all march out to Camp Buckner, which is about a 9-mile ruck out to there, and that's where we do most of our military training. So we did basic rifle marksmanship, land navigation. We worked with light and medium machine guns, grenade launchers, all that kind of stuff out there. We practiced, tactical movements, reactive contact, and room clearing, all that kind of stuff in those 3 weeks. That was probably the most entertaining time, or the most fun that I had during basic training. It's really not a whole lot of fun, but it was the most enjoyable time, being able to do all that cool stuff, all the Army stuff that you kind of sign up to do. But so yeah, so that was kind of the basic training. It really wasn't extremely intense because we have 4 years to train up for the big Army. So it was mainly just kind of getting introduced to what goes on and all that kind of stuff. So after those second 3 weeks, we marched 12 miles back to West Point. We took an alternate route, so it took us so we could march longer. They want us to march longer, I guess, on the way back. So we did those 12 miles. My dad actually flew out and got to see me march back as we went back to the plane, which is where we do all of our parades and stuff. So after that, we spent about, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 hours cleaning our rifles, which was not very fun. As you guys probably know, it's not always the most fun thing to do, weapons maintenance. So we did that for about 3 or 4 hours and then turned them in, and then we reported to our barracks where we would spend the remainder of our time here. That's where we would all stay. So yeah, so then we had about a week of reorganization where we familiarized ourselves with the rest of the company, and then we start off and then we go right into the academic year. So that's where we are right now. So the academic year, it's really has its ups and downs. On the plus side, the barracks that I stay in for the academic year is fairly new. They renovated it. I think it opened up about 2 years ago. So it's generally nicer than the barracks I stayed in during basic training. It's air conditioned, which is nice. It has individual showers, which is nice. And it's close to the gym, so I don't really have to go that far to work out or anything. And it's close to the mess hall as well, so I don't have to walk far, really, at all, which is nice. In the academic year, as plebes, each day we get up earlier than everybody else, and we have to do orderlies and things like that, duties in the morning, where we clean the bathrooms, take the trash out, sweep the hallways, everything like that. So I get up about 5:50 every morning and do my part in that, and then we get ready to go we go to morning formation after that. And morning formation is usually it's at 6:50. Sometimes we have modified schedules, whereas just this past week we had the Air Force. It was Beat Air Force Week, so on Friday there was some festivities going on in the afternoon, so the schedule got bumped up an hour or so that day. This formation was at 5:50, but normally it's at 6:50. And after that, the plebes, which are the freshmen, essentially have to go to a mandatory breakfast. So we have our mandatory breakfast, and then classes start at 7:30. For me, so we have a block schedule, so there's day ones and day twos. For me, my day one is Spanish 475, which is just reading and writing through media. It's a pretty tough class, but it's a good time. I really enjoy it. My professor's a lieutenant colonel, so he's been in a while, and he's a really good instructor, so I really enjoy my time learning with him. And then my second class of day ones is English 101. Not necessarily my favorite class. It's composition. It's a lot of writing, but I mean it's beneficial. After that, I have a math class. So MA 103 is what it is. It's math modeling and introduction to calculus. It's different. It's not really any kind of math that I've ever done before, but it's interesting because it's all applied. So all of the problems we work on and things like that are kind of, I guess, Army problems where it's like, for example, one of the problems was you have this many Apaches that are deployed and a unit is replacing them, and you have to figure out what rate in which to stay fully combat ready. So you had to kind of work a problem out, which that's pretty interesting. It's a little tough, but it's usually pretty interesting. And then my afternoon class is MS 100, which is military science, and that's, so far we've just covered how to plan a route, how to compose a graphic depiction of terrain on an overlay on a map, your basic tactical tasks, just things like that, things that we'll eventually have to know how to do as officers, how to plan up stuff like that. So yeah, that's my day one. Day twos, I start off and I have IT 105, which is information technology. We really just work with coding and things like that. It's an interesting class. I've never really done anything like that before, so it's a little challenging, but it's definitely fun. We get to make robots and things like that. So it's a good class. And then after that class, I have environmental geography, which is a pretty interesting class as well. We literally just talk about everything from human geography to just weather and things like that. So that's a really fun class. It's very applied to the military as well. A lot of the things we talk about we apply it to the military and ask questions about how it applies. So yeah, it's an interesting class. And then my last class of the day is math again. So math is every day. So yeah, that is my academic schedule. So after classes, we all have, either you go to your core squad, which is like your school sport, whatever if you got recruited, you might go to football practice or soccer or anything like that, or you go to a club sport, things like that. If you're me, you just do company athletics. I'm currently in grappling, which isn't necessarily the most fun. Like I said before, it's kind of just wrestling but with submissions. So I get my butt handed to me all the time, but it's fun because you're kind of learning. Eventually I'll be taking a class, I think my junior year, called combatives, and you just pretty much just wrestle the whole time, so I'm kind of getting ahead, I guess you could say. So yeah, so you have that in the evenings, and then after that, if you want to, you can work out a little bit more. There's people usually go to the gym and lift after that, and then there's optional dinners and stuff every day, except for Thursdays where it's called Spirit Dinner, and that's where the whole brigade comes and that we all eat dinner together, family style, which is a pretty fun time usually. And then after that, we have evening study period, which is basically like 3 hours where plebes can't be tasked to do anything. It's all devoted to study time. So as long as you're studying, nobody can really bother you that much. It's your time to focus on your studies and get stuff done that you need done. So the campus is honestly really pretty. It's what sometimes keeps me going, keeps my spirits up. It's really pretty right now, especially because of all the leaves changing colors and things like that. Um, West Point's right on the mountain, right on a mountain off overlooking the Hudson. It's a really nice area. There's a lot of small little towns that when I go off on pass and things like that, you drive through and they're really pretty. There's a lot of really historic. There's a lot of historic markers, and a lot of historic trails, because this is one of the oldest bases in the United States. So there's a lot of really old stuff, which is really cool. And then there's a lot of statues of distinguished graduates who've gone through here. So General MacArthur, General Eisenhower, all kinds of generals. There's statues of them in front of each barracks that's named after them. So it's really cool to kind of look around. What's different from this base as opposed to other ones in the country is that it's a big tourist attraction. So all the time you have civilians walking around. Just by the bus load. Like, I mean, we could be parading on the plane and there'll be a bunch of civilians, on the sidewalk taking pictures of us and things like that. So it's definitely a strange experience with having all these tourists. A lot of times we feel like we're in a zoo, and we're the animals and they're taking pictures of us. So it's interesting, but definitely it's a place that I would suggest coming to and visiting just for the history and the views of it. So overall, I've really glad I've decided to take this path. Although I kind of miss out on some of the things that kids my age get to do in a regular college, I also am afforded opportunities that a lot of kids aren't able to do at regular colleges. I've met a lot of really cool people, some that are from other countries, some that are prior enlisted, things like that. So it's just a really good place where you get a bunch of people from all over the place, but they all have one common desire, and that's just to lead. And so I think that's really cool. I'm really excited to see what the future holds for me at this place, and I'm really glad that I have this opportunity. So once again, thank you for all that you guys have done, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks, guys. See you later.